Okay na, sir.
Okay, Jade Loy, may I see the face? All I can see is your ano. Okay. Ano. So smiling for today's first son ng video. Betty, Betty Jen. Why laughing? What's laughable? Is it
Wala lang, sir.
laughing? Okay. Should not laughing because it's not laughable. Char. Sige, diri. Ano, sige. So, okay na, no? So, pwede ito mag-turn off ang camera so that we could start the discussion. So, once again, good morning, everyone. And welcome to our discussion for our continuation natin discussion for the midterm exam. So, the topic for today's afternoon will be somehow parang familiar na nitanan sa inyo, ha? So, there's no need to elaborate further. Okay? But ang ako lang gusto nga mahitabo is I want everyone to reflect on the topic, okay? To reflect all your actions. Sir, recollection din, sir. Okay, bita. I want everyone to realize and to reflect the topic that we would have for today's discussion. Kasi this is very timely and relevant and I could use my voice to spread awareness. Ano? Bita. Okay, so timely and relevant siya nga itong topic class, no? Which is all about global warming and climate change. There's no need to elaborate further, but I'm still going to give you information, some a little bit of discussion, but I hope that you will somehow realize, no, kung tayo, natin, especially kung oral recitation na ma-realize po nato ang atong importansya aning nga topic. Kay this is what we are experiencing right now. Even imuha pa na siyang i-neglect, even if dili ka mo tuo, but karon pa lang daan, please open your mind kay kuan. Ano tawag nito? This would be helpful for you to understand, no, especially talking about the global warming and climate change. This will help you to make you somehow kay gusto ka nga magdugay aning kalibutan, gusto ko ka magdugay ning kalibutan, na dito mangitag laing planeta. So, why not lend your ears and focus no sa presentation natin. So, global warming versus climate change. So, before anything else, going on the different content or topics in relation with global warming and climate change, let us first have the definition of what is the global warming and climate change. So, ang global warming, accordingly, it refers to the temperature increase in our atmosphere. Okay, to temperature increase. Another one, if we talk about global warming, is an increase in Earth's average surface temperature due to rising level of greenhouse gases. So basically, itong global warming, it only focus on the rising of the temperature. Okay? If you talk about global warming, the rising of the temperature. Why do we have global warming? And that is because of the level of the greenhouse gases. Okay? Sir, nganong din nasa greenhouse gases? Nganong maka-apekto man siya sa pagtaas sa temperature? So later on, we will that one. We will encounter that one. Then if we talk about climate change, this refers to changes in any aspects of the Earth's climate, including the temperature, precipitation, and storm intensity and pattern. It is a long-term change in the Earth's climate or of a region on Earth. Now, walay reason nga nung maato ni silang makambyo ang definition or ang meaning between global warming and climate change. Kasi sa climate change, we are only talking about the temperature increase but on the global warming. But kay climate change, we are not only talking about the temperature, we are talking about the effect, okay, of the global warming. Kumbaga si climate change, epekto na yan siya ng global warming. So the effect of global warming are the changes that occurs in the Earth's climate. Kung saan nga mga changes, pwede sa temperature, pwede sa mga ulan, no, mga precipitation or the amount of rainfall, mga storm intensity and patterns. So those are example. That is why kanang manotice nato nga mingon sila nga dati ang Mindanao kay di jud ginaiguan og bagyo. Karon kay padulong na sa Mindanao ang bagyo. Yeah, usually ang kusog lang kay signal number 3 but as time goes by mapansin nato nga nanatay signal number 5. And ang pattern sa storm na ginatake nato is lahi na compared dati, and that is because of, and that is an indication of a climate change. Dili indication ha of global warming, ang storm intensity and pattern kung maglahi ang sige nagbagyo manggod kay tungod sa global warming. No, okay? Sige nagbagyo, okay, ang lahi na iyang pattern, and that would we refer as an indicator of climate change. That is because of climate change. No, there's changes in the Earth's climate, like temperature. So, proceed tayo muna sa global warming. So, global warming, that is because of the, ano tawag nito, increase no, in the Earth's temperature. So, hindi tayo magkakaroon global warming class if we humans are actually taking care of our planet. And we have here, and the main reason, okay, the main cause of global warming or any climate change, and that is because of the human activities. And these human activities class are done in our planet. So we have human activities plus the earth, and the result for that would be a climate change. Okay? Climate change ang resulta ana. It would result to global warming, it would result to climate change. Okay, it would result to environmental degradation. So itong environmental degradation is all about degrading the environment. It's all about losing the environment. Okay? It's all about destroying our environment. Now, why do we have this what we call global environmental degradation? Kasi itong environment change class, accordingly, is a combination of natural events and human interventions. And it occurs at global, regional level, and local levels. And human beings have altered every element of the planet Earth. So, dili ta magkaroon of global warming, dili ta magkaroon of climate change if we were able to take care of our environment. But because we are degrading our environment, we are destroying our environment, and that leads to the climate change or even global warming. So there are a lot of causes of our environmental problems that results no into environmental crisis. And this environmental crisis, okay, appeal na like it involves environmental crisis like example like our food consumption. Okay? Magresulta na siya to environmental crisis. So we have here the different causes of environmental problem that is somehow connected on why do we experience global warming and climate change. So we have first is the population growth, another one is the consumption, and the third is the technology. Itong tatlong ito are the root cause of our global environmental problems. Or the basic cause somehow, or majority of this are the cause of our environmental problems. Okay? Apil na dira okay, as the population grows class, syempre the more consumption that we have, and the more the population, syempre the more the technology would be available or would be available or would be somehow availed by the people. Plus, dira na mosulod ang human impacts. Okay? Ang unsay epekto ani nga dala, okay? Ang impact ng sa mga human no with all this that they are doing tapos with this global environmental problems, and that would result to the environmental crisis. So let's go first one by one on the different causes of global environmental problems. So first one is we have the world human population growth. So the population growth class is one or the primary cause, no, parehas sa itong na-discuss last time about biodiversity, that one of the causes of extinction of biodiversity or animal extinction is because also of the population growth. And ang estimated din nga data is that by 2021, we are going to reach 8 billion. But luckily class, okay, 2021 wala pa ta kaabot og 8 billion. Pero naghapon pa sa 7 billion kapin, almost 8 billion. Maybe because of the pandemic, nga nung wala ta nakaabot og 8 billion, maybe because of the crisis, this COVID situation that we have, that is somehow siguro wala ta nakaabot dayon og 8 billion ang atong population growth. But we are almost there. So naunsa man siyang pamaagi karon nga maka-cause, okay? So the more the population grows, the more the population grows, syempre our needs, okay, the basic, the supply and demand, the consumption of the resources would become high. Okay, and that is the second problem that we have for the consumption. Okay? So, in terms of the human population, always remember that the population here, or our planet actually, is somehow limited. Okay? To a specific number of people. Dili sa tong planet, dili pasabot nga kaning planeta kaya magpapuyo og unlimited na mga tao kadaghan. But the capacity of the earth to support life is only limited. And so pag mugawas taan ng limited, magkakaroon tayo ng ecological crisis. Okay? That is why atong dapat i-value or pahalagahan man nato ang importansya sa population growth. Na dili nata dapat like masagad-sagad na lang or dagdag magpadaghan pa pag-ayo, that's why we have yung mga program ng government, to limit or to remind people na na if you want to establish a family, if you want to bear a child, then make it sure that you could support it. You could support life. Okay? So human carrying capacity of the earth is not infinite. So it's a finite only. Kasi if mulapas taas, what I've said, we will have ecological crisis. Okay? Accordingly, Earth has finite resources, limited resources. Yung kanyang ability to sustain the life ng planet is limited only. Ang ability ng planet Earth to provide food and energy is limited. And yung economic need allow exploitation of all natural resources. Yung mga industrialized nation, mas marami pa ang mga kinokonsume na mga resources. And isa na dito sa mga magiging effect, if the more the population is the pollution. And alam nyo that the more na mas populated ang isang lugar, the more na polluted yun siya. Because sa dami ng tao, syempre maraming mga transportation. And the more that it is urbanized. Okay? The second problem that we have is the global consumption. So global resource consumption is rising rapidly, and this is somehow something to do with the population growth. The more the population growth, the more na mas mataas ang wealth ng isang lugar, the more na mas managhan or mataas ang ilang resource consumption. And that is ever-increasing consumption will put a strain in our environment. Ang atong environment ang magka-problema, ana. If there would be an increase in consumption. Okay, and also as a result, if there would be increase in consumption, therefore, emissions and waste will pollute the earth. The more na mas tagang tao, syempre, the more na mas mataas ang pollution. The more na mas mataas ang carbon emission, kaya the more naman siya nga niasinso ang lugar. Pati ang mga waste pod, and that will somehow destroy the ecosystem. And the last one is the technology. So, even though mga technology class is beneficial para sa atua, dako siyang tabang, pero there would always be negative effects. And somehow, dapat po nato i-consider ang mga negative effects of the technology revolution. Siyempre, kung may technology, ang mahulog ana is we have here different mga effects. pollution sa life support system, degradation, global warming, depletion of natural resources, impact of industrial, toxic contamination, and depletion of ozone layer. So these are the ecological effects of brought by technology, the revolution of the technology. The more na mas nag-high-tech ta, the more ta na mas nag-ano, the more ta nga mas na mas tay impact, the more ta nga mas nag-deplete sa ato natural resources, the more ta nga mas nag-modernize, the more nga mas daghag habitat ang maguba. Okay? And so that is one importance of the technology. Okay. Now, a very common term in relation also with the global warming and climate change is what we call the greenhouse effect. Okay? But before we proceed with the greenhouse effect, let us have first a definition on the word greenhouse itself. So kung may greenhouse, do you ever did you ever see or did you see already a greenhouse?
Yes, sir. Wala po, sir.
Wala pa bata kita greenhouse? Pero for sure kita na mo ang greenhouse. Wala lang kakabalo sa name, greenhouse din na. Okay, so this is how a greenhouse would looks like. So kita na mo ani.
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is a greenhouse. Okay? Now what could be the basic purpose of having this greenhouse? So kaning greenhouse class, no, ato na siya in summarize. This is somehow a parang structural building na ang purpose ani is to receive energy coming from outside. Tapos pagsulod sa sun's energy. Okay, yes. Sarah May?
Wala po, sir. Napislit lang.
Okay, sige. So, itong greenhouse gases, ang purpose nito is to somehow ang tawag to limit the temperature or the amount of energy na maadto padulong sa plant. Supposed to be, this is somehow a protection for the plants, and at the same time, this is somehow para bang magsusustain ng init sa loob or para sa mga plants for them to conduct the process of photosynthesis. Kasi yung mga plants na yan, the more that they would be exposed on a direct sunlight, a very extreme heat, the more na mas it's either mamatay siya or the more na mas ma-dehydrate ang soil or mauga ang yuta or dili mag-grow properly ang mga tanom. So to avoid that, syempre itong greenhouse na ito will be the one to have an even amount of heat. Okay? Na gamiton para sa mga tanom. Okay? So pag once nga mo hit na directly ang sun sa greenhouse, so katong init is mabilin to siya dito sa sulod. Pero dili tanan init ha. Like for example, in 100%, 50% only of that will be go through on that greenhouse sa sulod. 50% tapos mag-remain na siya dito, and that would somehow give you or give the plants an enough amount of heat to sustain their process of photosynthesis. Okay? Now, let's proceed on the term the greenhouse effect. Kung greenhouse effect naman, this is somehow a natural process that warms the earth and in fact is quite necessary for our survival. Kani akong gusto tagag emphasis po para sa tanan kasi we have para bang misconception when you were in high school, even ako ganino, parang misconception siya na pag mayingon ta og global warming, mayingon dito ay tungod na sa greenhouse effect. So what we are thinking of greenhouse effect is a negative. It's negative. Kaya nga, ay mo din hinungdan nga ng mag-global warming, ay ba di din maayo ang greenhouse effect. Okay? I want to clear that one first. So, if we talk about greenhouse effect class, this is a natural process. Wala pa ta sa kalibutan, wala pa ta na anong kalibutan na kung ang Earth pa lang nanadaan ng greenhouse effect. And always remember that with the help of greenhouse effect, there would be no any living organism. Wala gyud kinabuhi nga mag-survive diri sa planet Earth without the help of greenhouse effect. Okay? So kaning greenhouse effect, syempre mura siya katong greenhouse, kumbaga, no? Gi-portray niya ang katong greenhouse kaganiha nga illustration, ang katong balay sa nga dili ingon diretsyo nga mosulod ang tibuok ang kainit, okay, mo igo tada ang kainit sa mga plants. It's just half of that or some only of that heat energy will remain inside the greenhouse. And that's the greenhouse effect. Kaya kung imagine mo kung ikaw nakasagawas bugnaw kaayo walay greenhouse effect, you would not able to survive with that. Okay, but with the help of the greenhouse effect, okay, by having the different gases in our atmosphere, natay mga gases class like carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, kaning nga mga gases, they act as a natural blanket. They prevent sun's heat energy from radiating back into space, much like a greenhouse, no, that traps sun's energy. Paano po siya sa greenhouse? Okay? And so without the greenhouse effect, syempre our planet would be too cold for humans to survive. So how does the greenhouse effect, no, ang mangyari? So you could see here process of greenhouse effect. You would have the greenhouse effect and the enhanced greenhouse effect. Now, sir, okay? Sir, nganong moingon man sila, sir, nga dili daw maayo ang greenhouse effect. Okay? Tungod bang gana siya sa mga tao, class? Okay? A greenhouse effect is supposed to be para bang help kumbaga sa tua. But because of the human activities, because of the too much concentration of greenhouse gases, kung sa may mahitabo kung too much of concentration sa greenhouse gases sa atmosphere, what will happen?
Maging trap ang heat, sir.
Ha?
Matrap ang heat sa earth, sir.
Okay, matrap ang heat. Ang worst ana is dili lang siya normal na amount of heat ang matrap. Kundili ibutang nato 75% of the heat will be trapped. As what I have said kanina, example kanina doon sa greenhouse, 50% of the heat will be trapped inside the greenhouse. But with the greenhouse effect, especially with the human enhanced greenhouse effect, remember that one ha? Natay natural greenhouse effect, natay enhanced greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect becomes negative because of the enhancement nga yang nakuha gikan sa mga tao. Like burning of fossil fuels, burning of plastics, mga pollution, emission of carbon, all of this contributes to the high concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. And kung mataas ang greenhouse gases sa atmosphere, the more nga mas daghan ang amount of heat na matrap sa Earth's atmosphere. Ug asa man na siya mag-result, it would result to
Global warming, sir.
okay, global warming. No, very good. So, it will result to global warming and eventually it will lead to climate change. Okay? Na kung makita na to dito sa image, supposed to be the earth is maliwalas ngayon ani lang siya nga pag once nga mag-hit ang sun, no, almost, okay, ang term na to nga almost of the heat will escape back to the space. Okay? Ang other ma-convert siya into infrared radiation. But with the enhanced greenhouse effect, makita nato diri okay, that nanatay maklaro, no, maklaro na siya ang kanang anong tawag dito, maklaro na siya ang layer, okay, of the greenhouse gases, no, where is our greenhouse gases can be found on that layer sa planet Earth. And so pag the more na mas taas ang concentration, instead na almost, no, ang gamiton, okay, few na lang, no, few of the sunlight or the few of the heat, the ang tawag to, few of the solar energy or the heat coming from the sun will go back to the space. Asa man nagpadulong ang almost sa kainit, nagpabilin siya sulod sa ato ang atmosphere sa planet Earth. And that causes the global warming, that triggers the global warming, and soon will lead to climate change. Okay? So, kung natay mga kaila, mga manghod, it would be better to tell them that greenhouse effect is actually not a bad thing. It's actually beneficial for us. Okay? It's just because the humans, okay, are making these things that increases the greenhouse gases, okay, sa atmosphere, and that's the time na ang greenhouse effect is nagdulot siya og negative. Okay? Negative nga effect sa ato ang planet. Okay? Tapos gitawag na nato siya enhanced greenhouse effect. Kaya dili naman siya natural. Kaya natural, dapat almost of the sun rays or the sun's energy will be emitted, okay, reflected towards back to the space. But because of the human enhance, because of the activities of the humans, syempre, ang nahitabo karon is that, okay, it becomes an enhanced greenhouse effect, and that causes the Earth's atmosphere to warm. So sa greenhouse Earth, we have the greenhouse gases. Kaning mga greenhouse gases would actually class survival, essential na siya actually para sa planet Earth to survive. Tingnan naman kung walay greenhouse gases, walay maturap ng init. Okay? Pero napunta balik, no? Pero pag too much of the greenhouse gases, then the greenhouse effect would be reversed somehow nga. Instead, na siya benefit sa tua, dili na benefit iyang mahatag sa tua, kundi problema na siya. And that's the time that the greenhouse effect syempre will not be functional anymore. Okay? Kaya dili naman siya natural, enhanced na siya. So the more na mas madagat na itong greenhouse gases, syempre the more na magka-problema ta. Okay? Mo nang atong we have the greenhouse gases, mo nang daghan kay tag pwede nga himuon to reduce the greenhouse effect. In what way? Natay reduce, reuse, recycle. Okay? Use less heat and air conditioning, drive less and drive smart. Factory install smoke filters. You need to plant trees. No, mo ni pinakadali na to gami himuon kaning reduce, reuse, recycle, plant trees og, okay, mga environmental campaign, okay? Tapos kung doon lang ang inyong doon lang inyong balay, so make it sure na pwede magbaktas or magbike na lang. But always make it sure nga be careful pud ta ko magbike ta. Okay? So on the concept of the global warming, so global warming actually is a continuing increase in the Earth's overall temperature. And global warming again is caused by the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect naging bad na siya because of the because of the humanity. Kita nga mga tao, kita na gihapoy nagdahatag niya. Mayingon tanong nga mayingon ta nga, ay iro kaayo ay planet Earth, na daw, di na daw ka-support of life, ay mag-end na daw ang planet. So let's not take it for granted nga mayingon ta nga, ay iro po kaayo, no? But somehow it should be for us, it should be a big deal for us to think na nganong makaingon sila ana. Siguro naagyod ebidensya. Siguro naagyod. Siguro maybe tinuod yun. And so kung ingana man lang gali, and then we need to realize na, or we need to do something that would to lessen, okay, the effect of global warming. Remember class, dili na nato mawala ang global warming. dili na nato mawala ang climate change. Okay? We could not climate change is not ano is not is irreversible. Di na to na siya mabaliktad, di na to siya balik pa dati. But what we could do is unsa man to mahimuon is to lessen, to minimize, okay, the things that might contribute to the global warming, especially to the greenhouse effect. And also greenhouse gases have increased from human activity. The sea level is rising. Okay, nagataas ang sea level, gamay nila ang mga snow, no, nagamelt ng mga glacier. Nga, may nga nga, ay, nga naman di ay, nagamelt ng glacier. Nga naman nagamelt ng mga ice. So, di problema, ana. Diba? The problem there is it contributes to the level or the rising of the sea level. Okay? And it should be ano klase, we should be worried kay kadang ilang ginaingon nga ay kaning nga island ma-vanish na ni siya sa planet, kaning nga island mawa na ni siya sa mapa. Yes, it might be. Okay? Imagine sa kadaghan nga snow or mga glacier or ano dito ice cap na naa sa North or South Pole. Imagine ang kadaghan dito tapos mag-melt lang siya. And that's a significant change. That's a significant thing no to consider na mabot ang panahon na ay mga portion sa kaning nga island, kaning nga syudad kay maano na daw matabunan na dag tubig kan tungod sa sea level. Itaas na daw. Yes. That might be true. And dili ta gusto ba nga maabot ta sa point na dito pa ta mo act, dito pa ta mag hatag og action kung karon sa pa nato na realize wala tinuod jud di ay. Okay? Especially kamo kay I don't know no if kamo batanan were you concerned of our planet? Were you even kumbaga ba have a sympathy or do you empathize the Mother Earth no sa iyang experience sa kung sa itong mga ginahimo karon. Okay? Even sa kanang gamay nga mga butang lang, even sa pag-minimize anang pagsunog og mga plastic, even pagsunog anang mga laya nga dahon, no? It should not be done. Pero kita ganahan mo kita magsunog-sunog dahon. Dinan kita kanang feeling na laban na sa bukid, nice kay no ang ambience kung magdaob-daob ta og dahon. But actually it contributes a lot in the may tama gabi gamay na kay na kung gisunog. Yes, gamay lang na siya pero wala ta kabalo nga kana kagamay na lang mo na ginapaabot sa atmosphere para mabangag yun ang ozone layer pag-ayo. Okay, so also plus pag the more na mas daghan ang greenhouse gases, okay, the more na mas daghan greenhouse gases, the more nga mas nagadeplete atong ozone layer. Kung sa'y nagadeplete, nagagamay, naganipis atong ozone layer. Okay? So, kung the more ta nga mas greenhouse gases nga gina-produce. So, in 2007, napapudiri started that there is a 90% probability that human activity is causing the warming. So whether gustuhin nimo o dili, pero that's the truth that we humans were the one actually that what we are experiencing right now is because of what we are doing. And many scientists feel that the consequences of global warming is irreversible and global warming is a serious threat brought about by human activity. Okay? So ing ana no ang kumbaga grabe ang effect or ang impact ng global warming especially to the lives of butan na to almost 8 billion people. Okay? So what causes global warming? Siyempre, marami tayong mga causes. Isa na doon yung mga greenhouse gases na yan. Okay? So here are some of the impact of global warming. Highlight lang na ako no 2009, the Indian floods. Okay? This event was somehow an indication or a clear sign that global warming is already starting, that the climate is already changing. In 2009, the 2009 India floods affected various states of India in July 2009. Na normally ang India is not into floods. Dili ka na sila gina-flood, but matingalata nga na mga country nga naka-experience for the first time og baha. For the first time in their history, nagkaroon ng experience of flooding, nagka-experience og pagtaas sa tubig, like sa panahon siya ng mga typhoon na disaster. The most affected states were Karnataka, Orissa, Kerala, Gujarat, and Northeast Indian state with over 200 people reported dead. Okay? And 1 million homes were destroyed. So, causing bad things also, like we have here mga wildfire in Colorado, Arizona, and Oregon in 2002. It was labeled as the worst wildfire season ever. We have mga dust storm, no, in USA, floods, hundreds of millions of dollars in damage sa Texas. There are snow accumulation, nagababa ang snow accumulation to 60. Mga winter season was shortened, no? Padang moingon ta bang in the Philippines, like kung atong buto na naon, usually pag moingon ta og summer, that's summer. But karon dili na summer, purely summer. Nag-base na lang ta sa summer because mo na itong nandan. And mostly, ang tendency is nag-change pwede mag-change atong summer instead na April o May, okay, mabalhin na siya May and June kay na-notice na sa April, ingani ang temperature, so mag-start pa ang summer, May, anang mahitabo, no? So, naay mga dili ng maong declaration, no, nga mahitabo kay tungod sa mga changes na nakita. So how can we also put global warming, okay, the pollution? Just like to minimize the greenhouse effect, we could also lessen the global warming, syempre, by reducing pollution, kanang mga technology atong gamiton, especially like mga bulb, mga appliances, like also like bulb, TV, mga ref, class. Always look for the Energy Star label. Kalagay sa refrigerator or sa mga aircon, di ba nanay, color yellow, no, nga murag papel. So always look for that. Kung mamalit mo sa iyong mama, tanawon sa nato kung asay mas efficient ani, asay taas og energy savings. Okay, nga percentage. Kana mga bombilya nato nga karaan, nga mga yellow, nga karaan nga mga bombilya, mga fluorescent, usually gani no, ginagamit pa sa balay, kanang matag-as pa, long tube. So ilisa na siya nato og mga light bulb, okay, mga lingin nga fluorescent bulb. Okay, ato na siyang ilistan kasi mas efficient siya ang energy and mas dili siya dako og kaon. Okay? Other things also, simple things to do, turn off your computer or TV kung dili ka magamit, take shorter showers, heating water, di na kayo maghitog water kaya nagagamit siya energy. Ang mga rooms nato, no? I-close na to ang mga blinds, shades, or curtain kung natin mga aircon. Like, open na to ang aircon niya, open ang mga window. Ang mga curtain na to atong ipang-close para at least ang room will be kept cool. Then turn off na to ang lights kung mawawata sa mga room. Okay? So we have a lot of things that we are doing. Okay nga, wala pa kabalo nga kanatong ginahimo ang ginagmay ng mga butang. Actually, that's a big contribution or help to even eliminate or minimize the global warming and also the greenhouse effect. Now, sa tubang mga balay or sa mga boarding house, unsa may ginahimo nato? Unsa may kanang maingon jud nato nga kuan gyud ginahimo gyud namo ni sir. Sige daw, anybody nabatay kuan butang nga ginahimo gyud? Okay, besides sa solid waste management, sa man ka ng medyo special na pwede nga practice nga itong ginahimo dyan sa itong mga balay. Di ba? Like when sir, sustainable living. Dili namin sa balay nagkakuha sa mga ginakaon pang adlaw-adlaw. Okay, that's a very good thing, no? To lessen also greenhouse effect and even global warming. Minimize also ang mga paggamit sa plastic, sir. Nagamit pig mga bayong, wala namin nagamit ang mga cellophane. Tapos namin compost pit. Okay, that's a very good. So, kanang mga butang that actually help, okay, to minimize the effect of the greenhouse effect or even the global warming. So beside that, napot tay mga hybrid cars no nga ano siya kanang wala kay siya nagapollute sa environment, also mga nuclear power kay wala kay siya naga-emit og carbon dioxide sa ato environment. Okay, napay mga wind power, mga underground nga mga pumping station for carbon dioxide. So there are a lot of things also ng mga nasa itong palibot ng mga technology that helps also in avoiding or minimizing the effect of the global warming. Now, climate change naman tayo. So after global warming class, okay, it will somehow soon lead to climate change. Tungod sa pagtaas sa temperature, apektado na ang uban nga lugar, especially we would have climate change. So itong climate change na ito is actually a critical global change, and these are potentially one of the greatest of all threats sa atong environment, sa biodiversity, and sa quality of the life that we have. According to 2004 on Arctic Climate Impact Assessment, these are some of the evidences that our planet is experiencing climate change. Ang Arctic climate is warming rapidly. Nag-init-init na dito sa Arctic areas. Ang vegetation dito, animal species, nagagamay na ang diversity, nagaless na ang diversity. Nag-reduce na po ang mga ice. Ang UV radiation level is nagataas na po no, sa atong planet. And ang mga mountain glaciers are already melting. So these are some of the evidences. Now, what could be the impact, okay, of this climate change? Syempre, accordingly, no, heat waves can lead to heat stroke and dehydration. Okay? Ay, kuan kanang climate change naman sir, nag-change siya. Ay, kanang heat wave naman niya sir. O ila pug kaayo, gabi pug kainit. No, so dili ta magkumpiyansa nga always nga o ira ganun. But that we must have to be we must have to be open thinking of these possibilities kasi we are living in one planet. If other countries may experience that one, then suddenly or soon this our country may experience also heat waves. And ang pina-example dila nga worst gyud siya nga nahitabo is in 2003. That was an indication that the climate change is really happening. In 2003, there was a summer heat wave in Europe and 35,000 ang death toll dito. 35,000 ang nangamatay. Ang mga gikuha nga mga kinabuhi tungod sa heat wave, tungod sa pinakataas nga temperature nga natala nila. Sa 35,000 on that, almost 35,000, no, mga 14,000 kapin pod ana are coming from the France alone. Imagine, mula po siya og COVID supposed to be, no? Heat wave na gani na, pero ang namatay in the Europe no, during that year was almost 30 to 35,000. So, what if dili mahitabo sa Pilipinas? And knowing ang mga Pinoy, dili gusto og init, di ba? Ay, inita, uy, ato tang mall pa aircon. Ato tag dagat kay maligo. Okay? Climate change also may affect allergies and respiratory health. And ang climate change class, mo ni siya actually ang very perfect opportunity no para mag-spread og mga disease, mga airborne diseases, no? Magtakod-takod ng mga sakit para sa COVID-19. Okay? This was actually a good opportunity for the coronavirus to spread because of the climate change. Okay? There will be changes in temperatures. And kaning changes mangkod sa temperature will have an effect in our body. Okay? So ato ni siyang ma-experience na the more na mas bugnaw, apektado tong immune system, the more na mas dali mag-spread of disease. The more na mas init, the more po mas dali mag-spread of disease. According to World Health Organization, the malaria, diarrhea, malnutrition, and floods related to climate change cause about 150,000 worldwide deaths. And IPCC reported 250 million also Africans are without potable water due to climate-related stress. Okay, and the flooding is linked to rising sea levels that will displace millions of people. Kung dili ta magkumpiyansa kay basig maapiltaan ng maapiltaan ng Pilipinas nga mawa ng mga island, no? Tungod sa taas sa sea level. So what could be the future impact, okay, of climate change? Okay? So accordingly, by 2100, ang expected ana is naay increase karon pa lang ganida ano na increase of almost 1.5 sa temperature. Okay, global temperature average. But in 2100 na ang expected increase dili lang hangtod 2 degrees Fahrenheit but up to 11.5 degrees Fahrenheit. And the more pod na mas muinit ang mga hangin sa land, okay? And the more na mas mutaas ang precipitation or ang ulan, amount of rainfall na itong gina-expect, the more na mas mag-worst pag yun ang tropical storm, pag-increase pag yun ilang mga strength of winds, no, expected na ito na. And also, there are changes in the precipitation kung some areas magulan, some areas also maggamay na lang ang chances of rain. So paiba-iba na no, dili na nato matagdaan gyud kaayo ang pag-ulan, ang heat wave, ang mga ting-init, ting-ulan no because of this climate change and because of the global warming. Okay? Any question or clarifications?
Oo.
Okay? That is why kita nga mga tao, okay, dili lang kay ingon nga taken for granted, no? Nato ang pagpuyo diri like labay lang ta diri, sunog dito, sunog diri without thinking. Okay, nga kita ra gyapon ang mag-suffer. Imagine one problem, one mistake of the other, one activity of that person actually contributes to the changing no of our Earth's climate, the Earth's temperature. Okay? Yeah, knowing na 'di ba, ikaw for sure na magkagihimo, no? Sarag wala kay nahitabo, wala kay gihimo tuuna. But karon nga na mo yung mga buot, unta ma-realize ninyo pod nga i-minimize nato ang mga activities that will contribute to the climate change, no? Or even in global warming, increasing of the greenhouse gases. Okay? Kasi imagine kung moabot ang panahon na dili na mapuy-an ang planet Earth, asa mo ta mga pagkaon, asa ta mananom ang kainit, no? Like katong sa Europe pa lang nga summer nga heat wave na 30 to 35,000 ang namatay. Unsay feeling nila ato like murang gitag mabuang, di ba? Sa kainit pa lang diri sa Pilipinas, mura lang gitag magkisi-kisi sa kainit kadita mahimutang. So, unsa na lang kaya, no? O magkaroon tag heat wave, no? Reaching a very high temperature. Okay? Okay, so this will also be a part of the oral recitation, itong topic na ito. So there will be question in relation with the global warming, and climate change, and also po sa inyo ha, nga kanang you would be somehow, no, dili kay kanang kamo pa namuyo diri sa kuan, kamo pa kita pa yung magsinagot. So I hope that everyone will be also enlightened, okay, that it's not too late to actually correct no our the things that we do, the things that we did. Dili pa iwit ng mutabang puta, but mag-expect kita that we're going to experience the worst of the worst. Not maybe now, but sooner. Okay? It's somehow a way of the Mother Nature, okay, to make us repay sa atong mga gihimo, okay, sa atong planet. Okay? Ana, because kumbaga napoy sariling pamaagi ang planet Earth to maintain its balance, to achieve its balance, to achieve the equilibrium na kuan nga naa ang atong planet. Okay? And one way for that is syempre kung the more ta nga mas daghan ta ginahimo no sa atong kuan, the more nga mas dagit tay i-expect no na atong ma-experience. It could be a worst typhoon that will kill millions of lives. It could be a tsunami, an earthquake that will kill millions of lives, and that is because of um, one mistake lang, no? Na kada isa sa tuan na tambay na to tanan, mo na siya epekto. So pabalik gyapon sa tuwa. Okay, sige. So much for that. Kindly open your camera for the attendance. There be no any question regarding sa project. Walay pa ko tana atong video.
Sir, pwede mga tanan, sir.
Yes.
Wala, out magud ko ato, sir. Unsa day button sa video, sir?
Okay. So again, you're going to make a 1 to 2 minute video presentation. Sa video presentation, katong topic na tong gi-discuss last time, katong sustainable development goal, mangita mo dito a minimum of 1, no? Isa lang. But if you are going to choose 2 or 3 sustainable development goal dito, so walay problema. Basta ako lang isa would be enough. Okay? Dili kung tulo imo ha dili pasabot mas dako imong points ha. Same lang gyapon na siya basta kung ginapangita lang gyud isa. So you're going to make a video regarding on the goal nga imong napili. Hatagan mo siya explanation or explanation or reasons or kumbaga a speech ba, a message kung nganong katong nga goal ang imong gipili or nganong kana nga goal ang dapat nato hatagan pod og importansya, no? So explain mo siya sa video. So sa video it could be ikaw mismo ang imong dagway ang naa dito or it could be mag-voice over lang ka tapos na yung mga slides or mga images na gusto nimo ipakita or unsa man na kamo na bahala. Basta dapat madungog nako ang inyong tingog. Nga kamo gyud. Okay? Dili gikan sa YouTube nga video nya inyong gigamit. Nya human lahi nga tingog ang naa sa video kay nangita ra mo sa YouTube dito og nay nag-istorya. So ana palihog lang no. So we need to be responsible kay college naman ta, no? Dili namin minaroay nga trabaho, okay? Dili na ta maroay nga elementary or high school, no? So mas lupigan pa ta sa mga high school mugahot sa mga video nila nga panghimuon. So ana. So explain ta dito. So 1 to 2 minute lang ang nasa ang katas-on sa video. Okay? Ang deadline ani is on July 15, the last day of the final exam. The deadliest deadline, okay, nga ako mahatag sa inyo ha on July 15. Okay? Yes, Ron?
Sir, kanang online gyapon among final exam, sir, or nanay possibility nga mag face to face po.
So wala pa may mga memo, so I assume do walay label pero kailangan kailangan usahay mag-assume na lang ta, no, kung walay label. So i-assume nato nga ang final exam nato is online. Kay wala pa man pwede any announcement, so I believe it would be online. Okay? Kay hapit na magud mag-exam nya kung supposed to be kung mag-final na magud hapit nag-announce na sila way back pa lang ay layo pa lang daan. Okay? So ana ang assume na to. Okay, online ang final exam. Okay,
Excuse me, sir.
klaro. Yes, Vincent.
Sa about sa special exam sa first exam, sir. Pwede pa
Oh.
maka-take ato, sir?
Pwede pa, wala ka kati.
Wala po, sir.
Ani bi kinapod sa ubang code, um i-message ko ugma or sa GC, remind ko for the special exam. Okay? Kay ano ba, pasig dili na nako maano nga na mag-special exam. Vincent, please i-remind ko. I will be
Po,
giving
sir.
the special exam by tomorrow.
Yes po, sir.
Yes, Beverly.
Sir, maunta na lang ko, sir. Kanang ugma pod ang second exam, sir.
Dili, Friday.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Friday ang midterm. Wednesday, we are going to have the discussion on Wednesday, then Friday midterm exam tayo. Para next week, we will focus on the recitation. Okay? Para ato mga utok dila ma-enhance, no? Pud gamay ato mga skills dila. Okay, sige, so much for that. Open the camera for the attendance. Okay.